Hey, welcome back to the best women's boxing show, period. I am Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf, and we're parts unknown in a different location, but just temporarily.
Yeah, but we still got a nice studio.
We do. And we got an even better guest.
Oh my God. Jeandra, God, you did this one? You go ahead and introduce her.
I would like to introduce our guest today, who has fight plans coming up in the future. She is a WBC champion. She is the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner.
Welcome to our show, girl.
Thank you.
You have no idea how excited we are that you are in studio. Not just the fact that we're interviewing, but you're here. You're going to be spilling some tea.
We're spilling tea.
Oh my! And she drinking her tea. Look at her.
Exactly. And we've been stalking and so just admiring and just so excited about your come up and watching you win, the knockout, just all of the things. And so we are very, very excited to be with you.
Thank you for having me.
And now we see your shiny hardware right here.
It's beautiful.
And for people who do not know Alycia, I remember watching you fight in someone's backyard, Terry Harper's. And Terry Harper, she's a warrior. She's a champion in her own right. She's a champion. She's a champion again. But you took it to the champ. You knocked her out. I mean, it was a really scary knockout at one point because I'm like, she's out cold, she's unconscious. But watching you, it made me tear because I'm like, damn, this girl came and went into her backyard and took the belt.
That moment was everything. Everybody asks me, how was that moment? I'm like, you'll never get that feeling until it happens for you. And just, I felt like I was underwater for so long, just working. And I was able to have that, that breath that you come up from being underwater. I'm like, I did it. It was like the best feeling. So I tear up every time I see it as well because it's just all the hard work and you train for that moment. And just the way I did it in her, her backyard in the fourth round in an outstanding knockout, she was knocked out on her feet.
Yeah. I was surprised that it even happened like that because Terry is she's a tough, durable fighter, but you were just the better woman that night. And it was almost like we just had Jamie Mitchell in studio and she also went into their backyard, Shannon Courtney, she knocked her out. So I believe just watching you two fellow Americans just, oh my God, you took home the belts, you brought it here. And now you're one of the women in the division that has the belts. And we've seen your Twitter feed, girl.
Spicy.
Oh, it's as you know that we did interview Michaela Mayer and she said she's a unified champion. And we asked why wasn't the next fight with Alycia. I would hope so. But you were supposed to, I don't know if you're fighting Choi or you said you're fighting your mandatory. So who is the fight happening next?
We want our mandatory. We want to get that out the way. That's the WBC rules to fight your mandatory. We're like, absolutely. We want to stay busy. So that is our next fight.
If you're victorious against her, then it's Choi?
Correct. Yes.
Why not Michaela?
I think for me, personally, as I've grown and as I hustle to the top, I am a world champion now. I have authority now. I have a say. I have a word. And I believe because of my hard work, I'm able to make those choices. So absolutely give me Choi because I've gotten to this point to say who I want to fight. And I think Choi, for me, is perfect. We both share the same background. She's Korean. I'm Korean. There's so much to the buildup of the fight. And I think to build Alycia and her profile, Choi is the next fighter for her. And then again, Michaela would be next. But that fight is so big for women's boxing. It needs to be promoted. It needs to be built just like the Katie and Amanda fight. And I see the potential of the fight. So why rush it, right? Why jump into the ring? And again, the entitlement is just like, chill, girl. I'm enjoying my champion. I'm going to go out there, show out, do my mandatory, fight Choi, and then it's me and you.
I love that. You said now that you are become champion, you've earned the right to say and to choose and do those things. As you settle into being a champion, what are some of the lessons that you've been learning that are different responsibilities and obligations and all those different things that come with being a championship that are more difficult, easier, prioritization? Just what are those days like for you now? Because it's a very different ball game.
Right. Just as a world champion, I just remember where I came from. The hustle that I had to have to get here, and I still have that drive. I'm still the underdog in my eyes. I'm never satisfied. I'm still working hard, and I understand what's in front of me. I understand that this is just a belt, but there's so many belts to get, but there's legacy to be built and to be made. And that's what I'm here for. You know, I'm more than an athlete, and being an athlete in the sport of boxing, there's so much more that I want to accomplish. So it's just the goal driven that I have to keep, you know, climbing to the top, and just always remember that it takes hard work to get here and to stay on top.
We are bold predictors here. You know, the common thread on here is I keep saying that women's boxing is going to take over in the next 5 years. That it's going to be at the top of the sport. All the major pay-per-views are going to be headlined by women. Where do you think about what do you think about where boxing is at now, and where do you think it's going to be in the next 5 years?
You know, women's boxing right now has definitely grown. I've definitely see, you know, more women being recognized for who they are and what they're doing, and that's great. But we have a lot more work to do. And again, that comes down to the promoters, that comes down to, you know, the networks to wanting to put women's boxing on display. And I believe with the women that we have now, as myself, Michaela, Clarissa, Katie, Amanda, you know, we are able to show the youth, again, this is for them being brought up, what we can do, and setting that platform for them to come up. So it's steady growing. And, you know, with these big fights, that's how we continue to grow.
Fabulous.
Well, we just had Franchon on earlier, and I saw on her Twitter that you gave her some $20, and I love the camaraderie, especially with Matchroom, because there are a lot of women that are signed to him or to sign to Matchroom. Now, we've asked Franchon what it's like. You know, she's a very well decorated amateur, and a lot of people don't know that. What's something about that? What's something about you that people just don't know? Yeah,
so, you know, my amateur career, I've had over 165 amateur fights. So I think a lot of people don't know that I've been in the game for a very long time. And maybe that I don't even box, because they look at my looks first and are like, she boxes? Like, listen, there's two different people, you know? And just to shout out my girlfriend, Sean. She's my girl with Gemini twins. But yeah, you know, there's a lot to know about me. And again, doing a podcast, being able to speak and people know my story, I think you're able to tell a little more and kind of get some more intel on who I am and who I am in and outside the ring.
Have you ever, in your come up to boxing, everybody finds the path them. So what was the path to boxing for you? Did you do we listen to people talk about competing at other martial arts and other sports, but eventually they landed here. So how did you land here?
Yeah, you know, my dad introduced wrestling to me. My cousins did it, my boy cousin. So that's where I started at 5 years old. So that built the confidence. That built, you know, I didn't look at gender at 5 years old. You know, I'm just like, I'm just wrestling, you know, and I beat a boy. Cool. Right. So then boxing came along at 8 years old. And so the competition and the confidence that I have from wrestling was able to transition into boxing. And so just being a born athlete, God-given talent, you know, thank the Lord for my talent. And it's just my duty to use that. And here I am today, just as a world champion. But that comes with just the patience and the hard work. And with starting boxing at a young age, I was able to grow and learn.
8 years old, going into the boxing gym.
Right.
What is the first day of 8 years old? If you
as a girl, it's usually a boy.
And they usually say, girl, you don't want to do this.
Yeah, that's too brutal. Like, you don't want to be punched in the face.
You know, my dad, you know, the first time I walked in, you know, the guys are doing push-ups, and the first thing my coach says, he's like, you're doing boy push-ups. I'm like, that's okay. I know how to do them. Right? Okay. So, you know, I didn't look at, you know, I'm just like, I'm competing against my male counterparts, and, you know, I can do everything they can do. And I just knew what hard work and what work ethic was. You know, my dad instilled that, what work ethic is and what that requires, because if anything you want in life, you have to work for it.
Facts.
So
oh my God, I'm so mesmerized by your muscles over here.
I'm trying to tell you.
I can't stop looking at your biceps.
I want to do like the slow zoom like into your arm, because I'm looking at you now and I'm like, God damn, I need to not eat no more. Ever.
Can you just flex?
Look,
God, wow.
My dad used to do that when I was young. Like, Lacey, come here, flex for them one time. I'm like,
it is it's sexy. I appreciate a woman's body, and a lot of people don't like very muscular arms. I'm a person about shoulders and back. Oh my gosh. I need to stop. Okay, so I'm looking at your Twitter right now. You are a Ford model.
I am, yes.
And what kind of modeling do you do? Like glam? Because I think of Ramla Ali when I see her on Bazaar and she's doing Cartier, like things like that. Do you do stuff like that?
Yeah, I told them I'm open to doing anything. So whatever they call me and ask me to do, I do it because I'm open. So.
It's versatile. You look great because now it's all about strength in women, and strength in women looks a lot of different ways. And you bring a very, very different look to strength. In addition to being beautiful, your body is beautiful. When you think when you're not fighting, what is your fitness routine? Because it's a huge part of your life. What is daily maintenance? Because we see so many male fighters lose fights on the scale or spend so much of their time in camp trying to lose weight. And that's clearly not an issue for you. So what does your off-fight training regimen look like?
Yeah, your typical boxing workout. So I'm always running, or I like to rollerblade. I think rollerblading is so much fun. Definitely jump rope, push-ups, sit-ups. Abs are like my favorite thing to do.
Says no one ever.
Right.
So, I'm always doing abs and, just some good old strength conditioning, some squats and, just staying fit. My body is an art piece. You can change it. You can build it. You can break it down, build it back up. And that's what I like. I love that I can do that.
Oh my goodness. Did you, at that age, was there anything else besides I'm going to be a boxer? Was there anything else that you thought you wanted to be when you grow up?
Yeah, I wanted to be an obstetrician. I wanted to deliver babies.
Really?
Ooh.
I love babies. And so I'm like, I'm going to go to school to be a doctor. I went to school for nursing for a little while. And at 17, I'm like, I don't know if this is for me. I think I belong in the gym. And I understood the sacrifice that was going to take and the attention. And with nursing, you need all the attention for your studies and stuff. So I made the decision right then to go back to boxing and make it a full-time job for me. And so,
we've spoken to a lot of females that unfortunately boxing can't be a full-time job because either you're a mother still or you have to have a part-time gig because women don't make money in boxing. Fighter pay is a huge issue. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my thoughts are, always vocal. I'm always vocal about that just because as women, we do the same exact thing as men. We step in that ring, we risk our lives. We are, some are mothers, some are single. And, I just believe that a woman should be able to secure herself. And as far as this sport goes, I want to secure myself in my bag, knowing that I can take care of myself because I worked hard and I stepped in the ring just like the man did. And so I'm like, why not? So I'm always very vocal about that. And I think that needs to be a really big turnaround and change because we're women. Like, we are dope. We can do it all. You can be a mother. You go to the gym. I think about some of the mothers who do box now. Like, how are you making ends meet?
Yeah, it's very tough. Yeah,
it's very tough.
Who was it? Jamie Mitchell. She's a mother. And I said, your job is never done. Once you get out of the gym, you're still a mom. So it's continuous on the clock. You're 24/7 working in some fashion.
I've noticed that's a common thread with a lot of women boxers because she's like, I'm obsessed with being a mother and I love kids. And literally every guest we've had have talked about the obsession they have with being a mother, raising kids, loving babies, loving kids, giving back. How do you, when you think about being a boxer and being that nurturing, you have to be a nurturing person to really love babies. How do you marry those two ideas in your head? Because you have this real violent sport where it's kill or be killed, and then you turn it off and go home and then you be a nurturer.
Right. I think it's a switch for me. When I'm in the gym, I'm zoned in. I'm at my job. I'm working. But when I'm outside of that, I'm like the most sensitive, crybaby, like baby me, like person. Because, boxing requires so much like, you just got to put this face on and this mask. Like, don't mess with me. And, especially being with a whole bunch of men and all that testosterone in the gym, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, you got to find your balance. And so I find my balance just when I go outside the ring and, just be to myself and, journal and put my makeup on, put some clothes on, feel my feminine side and just feel good about myself.
You're a crybaby. What's the last thing that made you cry?
The last thing that made me cry? That's a good question. Oh, yeah. I went to church. I
Okay.
needed a word from God that day. And yes, I cried. I'm a crier. So I was able to get a word that day that fed what I needed to be fed. And yeah, that was the last time I cried.
Okay. So I'm looking because Eddie Hearn is your promoter. And he did tweet out yesterday. So you guys were going back and forth about there was an offer put out 3 times. Michaela said that. And then you responded with your beautiful, lovely, colorful words in capital letters.
We love caps.
Oh, yeah, we do.
Cap.
And he responded, we've never had one offer ready to make the fight. Who's lying here? Who was there a fight offer? Come on, girl.
Run it for us.
Alycia.
Listen, let me tell you, I am at the front line of my career. I am in the talks with Eddie, my promoter, my manager, and I know what goes on. So I don't know if Mayer'S in the same position, but I know what's said and I know what goes on. So
there was no fight ever offered from Top Rank or Michaela's team?
as far as what she listed,
Yeah.
no, there was a fight. There was a
Okay.
fight. There was 3 times.
Okay.
And what she listed, which was correct. The first time, yes, we were offered the fight. I said, absolutely. My trainer was like, you know what? You still need to get surgery on your ACL. Do you think this is a great idea? I said, I could beat Michaela on a bum knee. That's just me because I'm confident. I know who I am. But being smart, now me knowing who I am, knowing that I will be a world champion, is this smart business-wise, right? So I had to make a decision. I wanted to take the fight. My trainer's like, I want to take it. Let's get the surgery. It was around COVID time. And another reason why I didn't take that fight is because it was disrespectful to give me a 3-week notice. Let's put
okay.
that out there too.
Okay.
As a world champion, like you say you are, giving me a 3-week notice is a slap in my face because I know who I am and I know the pedigree of a fighter that I am. So that was a no. And the surgery. So boom, got that first one out the way. The second time, and along with that, the first time my trainer had passed from COVID. So all these things were happening, but as a fighter and your fighter's pride, you want to take a fight, but we had to be realistic, And so the first fight was a no-go. Second fight came around to fight. I said, absolutely, I'm taking it. Had the surgery already at that time. They said that the Nevada Commission didn't approve, which is funny because they approved her last opponent. They should have approved her, and she was coming off 2 losses and I think like a 1.5 year layoff, and she had fought McCaskill. So I'm like, what's the difference? That doesn't add up to me. Why they would approve her and not me? Cool. So that's on you. So don't say that I didn't want to take the fight, because that fight when we approved, I got emails and everything. You know what I'm saying?
She got receipts.
I got receipts. Okay. And then the third time, obviously, I won the world title. I have a say. I have authority on what's next. And guess what? Eddie Hearn has Choi. So why wouldn't I fight her next? You know what I'm saying?
Michaela did say, I guess maybe business-wise, it does make sense that she says you're going to probably beat Choi, and then that's the real fight. So business-wise, she's like, I believe it makes sense. But I guess, it's a grudge match with you two. I mean, may as well just fight. But Choi, and it's kind of weird that Choi hasn't fought in 3 years.
I know.
What has Eddie said about that? I mean, it's...
if anything, if you understand the boxing business, which I do, and I've been able to see how it works, there's a lot that goes behind it. It's a lot of negotiating. As champions, you want to get paid what you want to get paid. You don't know if that's going to be your last fight.
Yeah.
And so I understand it. But again, this boxing game is patience. I had to wait so long to even get a shot, let alone get paid what I needed to get paid.
Because you came out of nowhere. Like,
out of nowhere.
No one heard about you. And then all of a sudden, you go to the UK, you beat her. And then we're like, who's this Baumgardner looking
I
all
was following. I was following on IG
yeah,
for
the
a
ones
long
that
time.
know, the ones that know. And that's another thing. I've been the underdog. I haven't been able to get the platform. I haven't been able to get the exposure. But I knew if I worked hard and I stayed in the gym that I was going to get my time. And baby, I was that monkey wrench to the 130 division. I said in an interview prior to even fighting, I said, I will be the monkey wrench thrown in the division that's going to mess all that little Thierry and Mayer fight that's going to happen. Because guess what? Because I think Mayer was fighting before and then Thierry fought. They're like, oh, let's make this fight with Thierry and Mayer. I'm like, y'all don't know. AB about to come through next week. And that's exactly what I did. And
Talk your shit, champ. Come
Listen,
on, let's
that
go.
that performance was everything. You can't sleep on me. You know, they were saying, oh, she can't box. She ain't got that much power. Dog, like, look at the fight. That was a 4th round knockout to Terry for a champion that was, you know, climbing up in the ranks. And guess what? I proved everybody wrong. Everybody. I shut their mouths up. And that's the best feeling to do when you're in this game.
You do it in the ring.
You do it in the ring. Your hands do the talking. And I'm a pedigree fighter. I've been in this sport for 20 years. So put some respect on my name. Understand who I am. I don't fight like a girl. I fight like a nigga. I'm just going to put that out there.
Talk it, champ.
Because that's what it is. That's just
This is
what
a
it
grown
is.
folks show.
Yeah.
You can say whatever you
No,
like.
that's just what it is. You know, when I spar men for a living,
Yeah.
you know, and I'm sure a lot of women do. But when you see a fighter, you know, you just got these eyes, right? These boxer eyes to see how a fighter is moving in the ring. When I step in the ring, you think it's a guy. And I'm cool. That's a compliment to me.
That's a compliment.
You know, and because of my male counterparts, they get me ready. They keep me sharp. They keep me on my toes. So when it comes to fighting a woman, man, I spar guys all day, every day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm just like, let's go. I'm ready to hurt you.
You know, we see you, or I don't know, we've seen you on DAZN before the bell. Like, you're in the commentating gig, the microphone, and I like you on the mic. I really, really like you on the mic. You break it down. Even, you know, like we said about Michaela and Franchon, like, you guys do a really good job at it because obviously you guys are fighters, but you're also very pleasing to the eye. I know that all the men, I'm like, damn, her body. And I'm like, God, it's your beauty and brains. That's what I like about you. And bronze. Beauty, brain, bronze.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah, there you
Beauty and
go.
the Beast.
Yeah. So how do you like being a commentator? Would you think you can step into that role once boxing is all said and done in the ring?
Yeah, I love it. I think, again, I'm very versatile. I like to stay busy. I'm building my brand. You know, I'm building who, you know, Alycia Baumgardner is in and outside the ring. I'm not just a fighter, but I can do it all. And I think we need more of that. Women need to be able to speak on fights because we're very intelligent. We know what we're talking about. We understand the game, right? And I think that gives the best, you know, advice to anyone who's watching boxing or who wants to know, who's a new beginner watching boxing. Like, what are they saying?
Yeah.
You know?
So Alycia, the commentator, watches back Alicia's fight and watches the fight against Harper. If you were calling that fight and the sequence that led to that knockout, how would you call it as the announcer watching the fight?
We have a very confident American girl coming overseas to fight Terry Harper. She's very confident. If you've seen her weigh in, you would know that she's all about business. And just look at her arms. Look at her legs. Look at that jab. Did you see that jab, how fast that jab was? She's snapping that jab. She's having fun in there. And yeah, the knockout is definitely coming. That was a patient knockout. Listen, I knew Terry was coming. She was gonna come. But when I tell you that I shocked myself, like, I just get chills about that. I know I have power, right? But when you box, you don't have to hit hard. It's the timing that sets up that punch.
It's timing that beats
Boy,
speed,
listen,
everything.
She walked right into that right hand. I said, damn. That power, like, just
I honestly believe you
through my
took
hand.
something out of her. I mean, she moved up in weight, but and I'm glad that she was able to come back in her next fight and be victorious. But after that knockout, it was scary.
No, it was. And then, you know, credit to the referee for stepping
Yes.
in and doing his job as
Yeah.
he should have. And again, thank you to Terry. You know, Terry's been taking really tough fights. You know, she fought Natasha Jonas. You know, she's a champion of chances. So she took a chance to fight me, and I appreciate that chance. But I was also on Eddie's head in his DMs, like, listen, give me a shot. I need a shot. I won't disappoint you. I'm like back to back for a whole year. Like, just give me a shot.
You wasn't even just in the DMs doing that. I remember you used to do it actively on the timeline on Instagram. Like, look, put me in the game, coach. I want to go. So what was the day? How did the call come in? What did he say to you? Did he hit you in the DMs like, okay, call my office? Like, how did it all come together?
Yeah, you know, again, like I said, I was messaging him for a good year. I'm just like, put me in there. Just give me a shot. I won't prove you wrong. I just seen an opportunity. And Terry was getting ready to defend her titles. And I know they had a few other girls in mind, right? And they declined. And, you know, I got the phone call like, hey, we got an offer. Yes, we're taking it. My trainer was like, I don't know. I was like, bro, we have to take this fight. He's like, you know what, AB, I'm gonna take a step of faith.
In that situation, because obviously money didn't matter. It
Money
was just
didn't
like
matter.
you would
I didn't
just
get
fight.
paid what I should have got paid for that fight. But guess what? I said the money gonna come.
Yeah.
It's time to show out. It's time to show who you are and take that chance. And so this is what I've been training for. And I said, absolutely, we taking it. My coach is like, bet. I got faith in you. We're just gonna take it. And with that fight, that was a late notice fight too. But I stayed in the gym though because I knew something was gonna come up.
And that's a great thing. You stayed in the gym. You stayed gym ready. What was that conversation like now with Eddie? Once for that bag.
Listen, after the fight, you know, I see him in the lobby. I actually flew out to New Hampshire, I think, and we had coffee the next morning. Like we had coffee, and you know, we're talking about. He's like, man, that was excellent. He's like, you know, obviously we want you on the team. I was like, okay, I want this, and this. He's like, check, check, check. And
awesome.
Did you go, damn, I should ask for more?
Listen, always.
You may as well shoot high and just whatever sticks. Hey, we always say earn with Hearn.
Hello.
Oh, I like that.
No, that's Calify actually gave him that name, and I've been using it in all my
Hearn.
Yeah, just be like earn with Hearn. Cha-ching.
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 Why do you think he's got it figured out? You know, there's these promoters that have been around forever, and women didn't just start boxing last week, but he is really him. And then now behind him, Jake Paul is putting his toe into the ring and putting women out there. What do they have figured out that these other promoters just haven't figured out?
I believe that he knows that women are just as good. If we give them a chance, they're gonna show us. We're athletes in the sport of boxing. We're all athletes. Let's take gender out of it, right? Let's give this woman a chance. And that's what he did for me. And now, look, we have 2 women fighting at the Madison Square Garden. Amazing. Like, that's amazing. And it's getting so much buzz that you can't deny it. You can't not talk about women's boxing when it comes to Eddie Hearn, when it comes to, you know, the women that are, you know, fighting for those co-main event cards. So I think it's amazing. And I think he understands the magnitude. Like you said, boxing is going to be grown in 10 years. The women's boxing, it's going to be huge.
It is. He's putting 2 undisputed cards on there. Franchon's also.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, her too.
That's like never.
Awesome.
That has never ever happened in the sport, in the history of boxing, for 2 women cards like that.
And that's why, you know, it's a history fight because Eddie Hearn made that happen.
Yeah.
And so he took the chance with women. That's why I knew before I signed with anybody, I'm like, I got to be with Eddie Hearn. He supports women. He represents women. I want to be with a promoter who sees the same vision I do. So
he's out there making women are making undisputed champions faster than the men.
Yeah.
The women getting into the business. Is it a different pressure for women to make these undisputed fights? I mean, because I feel like when women participate in the fight, if the fight is not explosive, then it's, oh my God, why they put these women on this card? This is so boring.
Yeah, because they don't produce knockouts.
And we've seen many boring men's fights.
Oh my God.
And it keeps going and go. We've seen some recently.
Snooze fest. And then,
So is it a pressure you have an explosive style. So that's automatically part of your style when you fight. But is it that extra pressure to perform that way every time you go out?
I would say yes. I think a lot of women feel pressure just to be at the top of their careers in any given career. It could be a doctor. It could be a podcast. It could be anything. You know, we want to be able to be confident and stand on our own 2 feet, doing what we do best. So there is a little pressure. I think it comes from just knowing what we want for ourselves. But, you know, when we're in there, we're going to perform and we're doing this for us at the end of the day. So, yeah, there's a little pressure, but it just depends on how you use that pressure and how balanced you can be with that.
Mm-hmm. You're so cool, Alycia.
For real.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I like your fire tweets. I really love them.
It's
I'm sitting
real.
here,
Tweeting
like,
can be very
retweet, like,
misleading.
retweet.
Yeah. No, tweeting could definitely be misleading. That's why it's nice for people to hear my voice, be able to hear what I have to say, because you can really judge a lot off of just social media. And that's one thing that I want people to understand is, you know, there's somebody behind a screen, you know, so very personable, you know, able to talk to anybody, give advice, anything that I can do to make somebody happy, put a smile on their face, I'm all for it.
What's something that you've seen out there said or written about you where you want to tell the people that is not true? Stop saying that. It's not right. Are there any narratives, any things out there that are being said about you that you just want to, you know, squash it right now? It's not true.
Yeah, that I didn't want to take the fight with Mayer. I will beat Mayer's ass. Like, dog walk her like I said I would do that. And for like, it's simple. It's simple. People are like, oh, you know, fans, they don't really know how the boxing business works. Oh, just fight her, yo. Like, just accept the fight. If it was that easy, I would have been fought her in the backyard. You feel me? And that's just how I feel. Like, I'm not scared of anybody. I'm not threatened by anybody. I'm my biggest competition.
Yeah.
And I know what I can do. Michaela has an amateur style. I seen this girl in the amateurs. And funny story, I wanted to fight her at a national tournament in California. I'm like, bet I get to fight Michaela. I'm about to beat this bitch ass, right? And I'm like, yes. And it was supposed to be a qualifier for the Olympics. And I'm like, awesome. I think it was at 132. They changed it right at the last minute. And I'm like, damn. So it wasn't a qualifier anymore. So she moved up to 41. So I never got my chance to beat her in the amateurs. So I'm like, bet. Then I found out she was turning pro. I'm like, even better. No headgear, smaller gloves, and Wolf. And Von der Ward type style, like, that's what I'm on.
Oh,
I love
she is.
So man, Ann Wolf, I love.
I know. We
every
get
once
Ann Wolf. Yeah,
for real. It's about time for that clip to start circulating for her again. That usually comes out where she was fighting the taller opponent.
Yep.
What fighters do you enjoy watching? Or do you even watch? Some fighters are like, when I'm off the clock, I don't even watch. I don't pay attention. Do you like to watch it? And who do you like to watch, past or present?
I love watching boxing. I think it puts me in my element. You know, it just tells me, you know, that's what I do and how I can become better. I always love watching Mike Tyson. I think when I want to get some built up anger in me or something, I'll watch Mike Tyson knockouts just because I'm like, oh, he's such a dog. Like, that's how I want to be in the ring. And then, you know, you watch Floyd, who's just so clean with his defenses and just how he moves in the ring. Canelo, just how he had one loss against Mayweather. Now look at him. He's the king of, you know, boxing, and I salute him just because, you know, he had the loss against Mayweather, and he's running his show. He is running his career. He's saying when he want to fight, who he want to fight, how much he's getting. And I think, you know, when you're able to have that torch in this sport of boxing, that's amazing. Because you're able to do that. You're able to have control. But yeah, I love watching boxing. You know, I'm able to, you know, as a commentator, you know, I take notes. I'm like, oh, he could be doing this, or he should do this. So, you know, it gives me good practice as well.
Yeah. Well, there's the segment that we do. We ask all the fighters. And in this case, I'm going to ask you, in your division, I'm going to name a name, one word about them, just off the cuff. Don't even think. Michaela Mayer.
Tall.
Delphine Persoon.
Awkward.
Alycia Baumgardner.
Bomb as fuck.
Hamadouche.
Come forward.
Choi.
Where's she been at?
Terry Harper.
Strong.
And then since your thing was very, very short, I'm going to just kind of go into the pound for pound. Katie Taylor.
Making history.
One word.
Oh, shit. Right.
Y'all don't pay attention. Don't follow one word.
One word.
What did Michaela say about her? Unproven. She said that about you.
That's nice.
Your supporters on Twitter were not a fan of that. You know, actually, you know what? Before I want to go back to the pound for pound list, the Twitter sphere you have some strong supporters. Some of them were getting mad at us, and we were like, we just
put out the interview.
We just put out the interview. We don't have a dog in the race. We just support women's boxing. We want women to tell their stories from their own mouths without any narrative, without anything like that. When you look at your supporters on Twitter, what do you like? What do you like what you're seeing out there? Because they are a passionate group.
They are. I think I have a really strong group of supporters. I think a lot of people support me. I see some of the haters in there, but I'll respond if I got the time.
We got to come up with a name for them, like maybe like bomb bombs or something like that.
I like
my
that.
bombs.
Bomb drops bombs.
Okay.
Okay, so let's go back. Clarissa Shields,
Strong.
Jessica McCaskill,
Strong.
Amanda Serrano,
Southpaw.
Chantel Cameron,
Accent.
Accent,
Yeah.
Sinisa Estrada,
Fast.
Cecilia Brecus,
I don't know about that one.
Savannah Marshall.
Strong.
There's some good fights that could be made out there. Savannah, Clarissa, we got Katie Amanda, we got Fran Sean and her fight coming. What fight are you looking forward to watching as a fan?
As a fan, I'm obviously looking forward to the Katie Taylor and Amanda fight. I think that's huge. Obviously Clarissa and Savannah.
Wait, before you go, we know that you're going to be at that fight April 30th. Who do you have in that fight? Amanda or Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor or Amanda, and how does that end?
So I haven't picked a winner. I just know what my thoughts are. If it goes the distance, I believe Katie Taylor. If it goes to knockout, I would say Amanda.
Okay.
I feel like Amanda has, enough power, but Katie is very seasoned in the ring, just as much as Amanda is, but she uses the ring generalship really well. And so she can get her shots off and keep moving. She's going to do that.
You think it could end in a draw? I don't
you know
want
what?
it to. I don't. You know what? Boxing gods don't listen to me.
It just gave me this feeling like, you know what? It could, because guess what? How about rematch? Exactly.
Styles make fights.
Okay, and that we talked about. You just said Clarissa and Savannah. That's a real grudge match.
Absolutely.
Savannah just knocked out Femke Hermans, and Clarissa has gone the distance with Femke.
Right.
With that fight, can Savannah knock out Clarissa?
Absolutely. Anybody can be knocked out. We know this.
Yeah.
In boxing, I believe that their styles are obviously two different styles. It really depends who comes to that fight with the best game plan.
What other fights are you looking forward to besides those two?
I'm definitely looking forward to Spence and Ugas.
Break that down for us, because a lot of people have Ugas. They believe he can pull it off just like he did against Manny, but Spence is a little different than Manny.
He is. I guess I just relate to Ugas' story in regards to kind of how he was the underdog, him fighting Pacquiao, winning. And just like, if you know anything about him and just how he was, just given a chance, lost, was it given a chance, those fighters, like, that reminds me of myself. But again, you see Spence, who went through what he went through in his car accident, was able to come back, fight Thurman, and, have an awesome performance. So I guess it just really comes down to who wants it the most, because they're both fighting for a position that says a lot in that fight.
Now that you say, I do see that comparison with you and Ugas, because he spent a lot of time trying to get his mandatory fights, people sidestepping him and him not getting opportunity, and then it all culminated almost just by accident, for lack of a better word.
And then look at him fighting Pacquiao, like, that man made a good payday that day. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
My goodness.
And on your record, like on your resume, to say that you fought Pacquiao and beat
won.
him,
Yeah.
come on, like that's awesome.
And he retired. It was his retirement fight.
Yeah.
But credit to Ugas for stepping up. I mean, it made me sad. It was so sad for my people, but I loved it. It was a good fight.
What does the champ do when the champ's not training? What are some fun things that you like to do?
So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I do an all women's bag class for all my ladies. We are in a hot room, so the heat is on. It's like 90 degrees. It's 30 minutes. We got loud music playing, and they get a good workout in. They sweating, losing weight, and it's just empowerment to build, to give, confidence to other women. And I love it. That's one thing I do outside of the gym is my bag class with my women. Obviously, I love going out to eat. I love eating. It's like my love language.
Are you a vegan? Do you have any restrictions? Because a lot of people, they'll say, I'm a whatever, pescatarian, everything. Do you eat everything?
For the most part, yes. I don't eat a lot of meat. I'm definitely going to eat some lamb chops, from the strip club. They have the best food.
Which strip club do you frequent at?
Pantheon's in Detroit has amazing lamb chops. So I'm off for lamb chops.
You about to have these men showing up at Pantheon's every week. Like, I heard it was some lamb chops up in here.
Listen.
And the champ too.
Well, you are here in Vegas. There's a new strip club that just opened called Pepper Rhino. Like Spearmint Rhino. It's brand new. It just opened. So you could frequent there and tell me how the food is.
Right. Okay.
The food at Spearmint Rhino is good here. The breakfast sandwiches are bomb. The food there is so good.
It's good. It keeps you like
it's good.
Coming back, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we in the club. We in the club. Are you making it rain in the club?
Oh yeah, you one of those girls.
We can definitely make it rain.
We need to get those guns.
When are we going? When are we going?
We can go today.
Well, I don't know. We gotta see about the baby, but we going. I'll go.
The next time you come back to Vegas,
we're gonna put that on our bucket list.
I'm like, can we do a show?
That would be.
We should do a traveling show.
We could do it like a vlog. That would be
my
hella
god!
fun.
10 things that Alycia loves to do in Vegas.
Starting at the show. I love
We
it.
could definitely go skydiving.
Ooh. I would. You know what? I would love to do that. She's like, I'll
That is
watch
so
you from down
liberating.
there. Is it really?
Yes, very. During COVID, COVID was like a weird time for everybody, right? And I went skydiving during that time, and it was just so liberating jumping out of a plane. I'm like, listen, if this is my last day here on Earth, I'm okay with that. And it was very liberating.
Did you film it?
I did.
Can we watch it? Do you have it do you have a YouTube channel or anything where we can watch it?
I don't have a YouTube channel, but I should post it though.
Yeah.
You should.
Post
People
it.
will watch it.
Heck yeah.
Because people are always curious of, what you do besides outside of the gym.
I know,
And
right?
looking, I see all your selfies. Like I said, show it. You got it. Show it. And what are the things that men, I know you get creeps on Twitter, and people will ask, do you have a boyfriend? You don't have to answer. You really don't. That's too personal. But what do you say when you get? I mean, I wish we can do one of those segments of those
where we go through the
crazy-
phone and you see like all the crazy DMs.
Yeah.
Well, you know how much time you have because we do after dark
we got-
episodes.
we have an after dark show.
Okay, well, we're gonna put a pin in that, and when we finish the main show, we'll do the after dark.
Oh,
special
that's
too.
when we get
we
spicy.
can do that.
Oh, I see. You my kind of girl. We about to really get to the business then.
No, that'd be fun. No, obviously guys are always going to shoot their shot in the DMs, but some of them be just making me laugh. They be making me laugh. I'm like, listen, next. I just scroll through it. I don't even reply because some of them would just be. This is the one, like I tweeted it before, telling me that you want to spar me is not a flirting tactic. I will beat your ass. Those are like fighting words.
It's their foreplay. I guess
I'm like,
foreplay to them.
No, we gotta come better because that's just not it. Or this one I don't really get. When guys say, "Oh, you can hit me, you can knock me out," I'm like, "Why would you want to?"
That's
crazy.
weird. Girl. I had somebody tell me once they wanted to chew my glasses. It's like, what the shit? It's some weird shit out there.
Yeah,
they want to get punched.
That could be an episode of the man.
Oh my god!
You know what? We gonna talk offline.
There is a fetish for everything.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
There is.
I'm sure.
Has anyone ever come up about your toes or anything? I don't know if you've ever posted your toes. I mean, that's a weird question, though. But there is a big community of that.
Someone actually zoomed in on my picture. Was like, "Oh my gosh, look at her toes." I'm like, "Boy, why they give that option on Instagram to zoom in?"
Bro, you can't get an edit button.
right.
Elon Musk, he now is part Twitter. He's on the board. We want an edit button and stop zooming in on our stuff.
And not when we have to subscribe to every single month. Twitter Blue. I ain't paying for that shit.
Listen, I seen that. I'm like, super follow. What is that? Next.
I'm bomb. I don't need that.
I just need an edit button.
What is a super follow?
I don't
Is it
know.
Just like enhances your profile.
I don't know.
I think they get like special emojis or some bullshit like that. Don't nobody want that.
I don't know. It's too much going on in social media.
I can do the bare minimal for like social media. I'm on that. It's a job.
Yes.
Legit, it's a job. And I try to be better because, a lot of fans and, supporters want to know what's going on. So I'm doing my best. I'm trying. I'm doing. So.
How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I am 27. I'll be
Oh my Lanta,
28.
you are so young,
I
girl.
love it. When's your
28
birthday?
in May.
Baby.
May what?
24th.
Oh, I'm May 14th.
Yeah.
28. I feel like this is going to be a special birthday. Like, I don't know, something about 28 just sounds really good to me. And just stepping into my womanhood just more and more. I love it. And I just love seeing the growth and just continue being a better person each and every day. Like, I look forward to that. Like, and I journal as well.
Okay.
And so like I go back and I'm like, wow, at that time I was going through it. At that time I was so good. So I just love seeing the growth.
I mean, you just talked about journaling, and then you talked about you go to church. Do you meditate? Do you do any kind of spiritual things that calm your mind, or because of all the noise that goes on?
Yeah, I feel like it's very, very loud sometimes. And for me to get away, just to be in my own space, I'm definitely going to journal. I like to write. So I write poems. I, write just what's on my mind sometimes. And again, going to church, just being in the house of the Lord and just getting that, just feeding my spirit, man. Because, mind, body, and soul. And to have the mentality, a strong mentality in the ring, you got to have that outside the ring. Mm-hmm. And so I always work on that.
I love that. See, lessons
Beautiful.
learned, sage, because, we see a lot of fighters go through it.
Yeah.
And have mental and emotional journeys, and maybe that's the root.
And that's what we have to
because your journey is very you're by yourself. Yeah. It's a lonely sport.
It's very lonely, and just being a woman of color, being around men all the time, being in this sport, it's a lot of work, and I've got to sit down sometimes and be like, AB, you're doing everything right. It's okay. Like, just chill. And I'm just, I don't want to say I'm a perfectionist, but I am. I'm particular about certain things. And like, I really put a lot of pressure on myself. And sometimes I just need to take a deep breath and just say, you're doing the best you can. Everything is, working together in your favor. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. But I have to tell myself that,
yeah,
because, you look back, you just keep moving. Where's the break?
Yeah.
And so mental illness, mental health is huge. We should really be speaking on that more and more. My grandma, was diagnosed with mental illness. And so not having like my grandma and like what you would say her being regular, it was difficult, to be able to connect with her. But when I got to, that was like the best times. And, so, she's my Asian roots. So like just to be connected with her, that was everything.
Do you speak any Korean?
I wish I did.
Do you know anything about your heritage on that side?
I do. I know about the food. My grandma was a cook. Anytime my grandma cooked, what cooking does for the soul.
Yeah.
That was like my comfort food. So just being able to eat Korean food and kimchi and just like all those good tasty food, it just reminds me of my grandma and just the heritage of, where I come from. And just my grandma was a strong-willed woman. Like she would walk 4 miles to go to the store. Like, don't ask her for no ride. She's walking.
Yeah.
And I think I get some of that strength from her. And it's just amazing.
You cook any Korean food or?
I do. I love to cook. That's
Okay.
one thing maybe some people don't know. I love to cook. I can cook anything and everything.
Really?
I will cook you a dinner. Would you want breakfast, lunch, dinner?
That's
dessert?
our next show. Besides taking her out to the strip club, I want to cook with her. We should cook with her.
Bomb ass cook. That's what we
There
wanna
you
call
go.
it.
I like that. Bomb ass cook.
Bomb ass
We can
cook.
do that. I make some fire ass ramen noodles.
Ooh.
I'm off. Okay. So when we move, we're gonna go to our new spot eventually, and it'll have a space for us to do that. So yeah, we're gonna episode 1 of bomb ass cooking.
Yeah.
I like that.
You're
I like
gonna
that.
really hate me because I don't eat a lot of Asian food. I mean, I'll eat like Filipino because I can cook it, or Japanese, and some Korean. But everyone's like ramen. I go, I'm a top ramen girl. I hate to say it, those little 25-cent packs, soy sauce. Shout out, you can totally sponsor us because I love it. But when I try to go to ramen spots, I was at David Chang's in New York. Like that's a very well-known spot. I'm like, that's a lot of ramen. I can't eat it all. But
Oh yeah. I'm simple.
Do you put all the duck egg, or I don't even know what's in it? It's a lot of stuff.
It is a lot of stuff. Yeah, you can just make it how you make it, but I'm down to cook whatever.
Really?
Oh, girl, you're really about to have the creeps up in your DMs.
I know. They're like, and she can cook. Oh, shit.
Okay, make me dinner and punch me out.
She can clean. She can do it all. I
are
check all the boxes.
They're like,
okay?
can we wife her up already?
Okay, so
I'm married to the game.
please forward all of your proposals to the women's show.
Do you
and we'll
see
forward them on.
that? Do you foresee that? Would you like kids? I mean, you love kids, but do you think you would want some kids?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to see a mini me. I want to see just a mini me. I want to see if she's gonna have muscles like I did when I was 5 years old, big curly hair. I just want to see a mini me, and I think that love that you have for a child, you know what that love is. I don't know, but I see it when, my brother is a dad, and I have 4 sisters. I have 3 sisters and a brother, so I have a really big family. And none of my sisters have kids yet, but my brother has. So I've just been able to give my nephews all their love. I'm like, I can't wait to do that one day.
Oh, it's tiring, but it's there's something about it. It's weird. I remember my girlfriend said, I don't know what it's like to have kids because she only has dogs, and I never thought I would have a baby. I'll be 43, so having a baby very late. And I'm thinking, honestly, I've had my dog that passed away 15 and a half years. I love my dog, or loved my dog as much as I love my son. Because they're similar. I mean, everyone's like, how do you do that to a dog? I go, because I treated him like he was my son. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if you have any animals, but.
I had a Yorkie. So this is like a sad story, right? Went to, where did I go? I went to California. Came back. I was so excited to see my Yorkie. Her name was Chloe. And I took her out, and she always just goes out and comes right back in. She was like an older dog, so she was like trained really well. And so I'm calling her. I'm like, Chloe, come inside. Long story short, my baby got not eaten, but she got killed by a coyote.
Oh, yeah. California is so bad for that.
I'm like freaking out. I'm like, where's Chloe? So I live like in a woodsy area. And so I end up going down the hill, and there was my baby laying there.
Oh, don't
my
tell
God.
me that.
That makes
Are
me
you
cry.
serious?
Oh my gosh, I was losing my mind. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I'm so sorry, Chloe. And I just feel so bad about it now to this day. And I'm just like, I try to just wipe it out of my head. But I'm like, it's not your fault. But I'm just like, but still, did she suffer her little?
Yeah.
She was so little, but.
I do have a question. Since you are here in Vegas, are you going to go maybe watch Michaela Mayer'S fight?
That is April
Saturday,
9th, right? Where is that at?
Orange County.
In 2 days, Orange County.
Orange County. Is
it's
that
an hour
like a
flight.
drive?
Anaheim, by
down to
Disneyland.
405.
Yeah,
I'll probably watch it online. But I'm here to support Tony Harrison in his fight Saturday on the PBC card.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll watch it online or get a clip of it. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how she does.
Yes, indeed.
Period.
Well, that is a great segue, champ. So every show we have a segment called Talk Your Shit, and your camera is here.
Talk your shit.
So you have 30 seconds uninterrupted to fighters, fans, whoever the world that be. Alycia Baumgardner, talk your shit.
So obviously, as y'all know, I am the bomb, Alycia Baumgardner. I am the world champion at 130, top dog. You know what time it is. You know what I'm about. And just understand when I'm coming hard. And it's bomb time, baby.
Period.
She's putting all the ladies on blast.
Let them know. You
listen. Oh, and 130 to 140, baby. And maybe 47 if I'm up there. Say less, no, legit, 130 to 140.
I was gonna ask you, would you do weight classes if you're not going to be able to get? I mean, obviously you have 2 fights, your mandatory and Choi, and hopefully Michaela. But if let's just say that fight doesn't pan out for some reason, would you move up in weight? Because Michaela said she called out the winner of Serrano and Taylor.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, 130 to 140. I don't think none of them women are on my level. I just know what I can possess. I know who I am as an athlete. I'm competitive. And if anything, let's make a fight, And yeah, absolutely, I would move up.
Is Natasha Jonas 147 at welterweight? I know she moved up in weight. Mm-hmm. Or she's super.
I think she just went up there to grab that title one time for the one time, but she's not really no 147 pounds.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fight that could be easily made. You guys are all under the same banner.
Mm-hmm. She's actually with Sky Sports.
Oh, that's a Promotions? Sky Sports?
Boxer.
Oh, Boxer. That's right. Boxer. Okay.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Well, that could be easily made over there.
Yeah.
All over there.
We'll go over there. Yeah.
I think it's funny that you're fighting always over there. Like, I mean, obviously you're fighting in other people's backyards.
Just, we will have our U.S. debut, which most likely will be in June.
Okay.
Not knowing where that is, maybe California, usually Vegas, New York. But my U.S. debut is coming very shortly.
Oh, I can't wait to see who against who.
And you guys have been teasing this week that you're going to drop some news. Probably by the time this airs next week, may have said will you have said your news? We're not going to say what the news is, but some big news coming.
Some big news coming. Just know that stay tuned and be in tuned next week. I'm looking at Monday when we're dropping this special announcement, and this is clearly for everybody, for the fans to really just be ready to see something.
All right.
Oh, I know. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm always down to be on a podcast and speak and talk and answer questions.
The door is always
special
open.
with these two beautiful women.
Yes.
Women's
Thank you,
Boxing
Queen.
Show.
Thank you, Queen.
Thank you. And like we said, it's even though our title says Women's Boxing Show, Best Women's Boxing Show, we do talk about men's boxing. I mean, it's not just privy to women, but we also want to give you a platform because you got something to say.
Damn right.
We have something to say, absolutely. And when you have the chance, be vocal, say what's on your mind, and say it. That's what I believe.
And I think that's what a lot of people are lacking is that they don't say it. They'll just text or tweet it, and it comes off very wrong.
I rather talk than text. Tweet is very misleading, and it doesn't really give the authentic what you're really trying to say. So yeah, I agree.
All right.
Alycia, thank you so much, and we can't wait to hear the news and just gracing us with your fabulous self over here.
Thank you.
I gotta go hit the gym now.
Girl, I'm over here doing some calf raises underneath the table.
Listen, that's all you need, some calf raises.
Calf raises, right? Okay, Alycia. Well, you guys tune in. I don't know the news that she's going to be dropping, but she's going to be dropping something. And just check out her feed. Check out her colorful tweets because she's got always something to say.
Check it all out.
Thank you, Alycia, for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, Jeandra, this was a great little fun episode. Once
I know.
again,
We got the champ in the building.
Right.
We got to set the record straight.
She sipped the tea and she set it straight for us.
That's what we always want here. We wanted the straight story.
Yeah,
right
that's
from the source.
Exactly. All right. Thank you for tuning in, and make sure you guys like, share, subscribe. All of our socials will be posted somewhere down here. Thank you for tuning in to the best women's boxing show, period. I'm Cynthia Conte.
And I'm Jeandra LeBeauf.
See you guys at the fights.